Hello everyone and welcome to my first ever speed build. So today we're working on a tiny castle, and right now you can see I'm trying to figure out the exterior. I didn't really know what I was doing. I cut a lot out of the speed build because it took a lot of trial and error to figure out that little tower area. Now you can see I've skipped ahead a little bit actually, and I'm adding that new fencing from the castle kit, which is so essential for a castle build. Like, it turns a regular house into a castle. I'm also adding in the foundation and the wallpaper, and I've used the mossy swatch for most of the items. But yeah, so basically this is my first official YouTube video. Like, I've posted VODs before on this channel. You may have noticed if you have been subscribed for a bit that my name used to be Tabitha Lee VODs and it's now Tabitha Lee _. So that kind of opens up a new door for me to post more content than just VODs from Twitch. I didn't build this build. I didn't build this build on Twitch, but I might start recording some builds that I build on Twitch for YouTube, speed builds. So if you want to follow me there, it's just Tabitha Lee on Twitch, and you can watch me build live. But I do other stuff too. I do co-working as well as a lot of Sims builds right now, honestly. I'm working on a save file. But it looks like we're maybe finishing up the base exterior with like no windows or doors or anything. Oh yeah, I'm figuring out. So I added a moat, and we should see it in a little bit. There it is. There's the moat. I added a moat mainly because I wanted to use that arch with the like gate coming down from it. So I figured the best way to do that was to build a moat and then build kind of a courtyard area in the front. And we'll see that being built now. And there's the arch I was talking about. I really wanted to use that arch. I wanted to use as much from this pack as humanly possible. So I'm just kind of adjusting it so it's all nice and centered. But I did cut out the terrain manipulation as well as the landscaping for the moat because it took so long, and it added like an extra, I don't know, like 5 minutes to the speed build, and I'm just like, I don't think I can talk for that long. So here we are finishing up this little courtyard structure. And actually I did add a ladder into that little one tile space, and it's actually accessible. I did playtest this build as well. So everything is usable, everything is functional, even if it looks really tight. I promise it works. And I think we're starting on the floor plan, it looks like, and I'm probably gonna place some filler furniture just to kind of map everything out. That's honestly a pro tip when doing floor plans. If you're not sure how things are gonna fit, just place like any counter. You know, you don't have to even add an oven or a fridge or anything. Just lay out the counters for how big you want the kitchen to be and then go from there. That's kind of why I added the bed, because sometimes it's hard to tell how big or small a room is without any furniture in it. So that's kind of what I like to do when I'm making the floor plan. And here I'm trying to figure out how to make this bathroom work. The thought process here, the reason there's so many doors is because I figured the queen should have like a direct access. That's why there's a hallway, but also I wanted the servants to not have to go through the queen's chambers to get to the bathroom, because I figured the servants would probably be the ones to clean it. So I wanted them to have separate access without actually going into her bedroom, the queen's bedroom. I'm assuming a queen lives here, by the way. Maybe a king and queen, but I think the queen is probably the main ruler here. So that's kind of the thought process there. And I'm going ahead and adding a bunch of candlelit chandeliers. They're small, but they work. Again, kind of figured there wouldn't be much electricity here. I guess there's slight plumbing because I do add a toilet and a bathtub. I'm pretending the bathtub gets filled with water from like a river or something, but I guess we're pretending. So you will also notice that I don't add any sinks in this build, and that is on purpose. That is actually on purpose because I figured you would just use water from a bucket. When we go to furnish the kitchen, you will see that I put a bucket on the counter, and I'm pretending that that's like a bucket that they fill with water for like cooking or maybe using to wash their hands or something, like because they don't have a sink. And here we are trying to slowly figure out the servants' quarters. It's very small. There's room for 2 servants. Honestly, I probably could have cut some of this out, but I didn't. So here we are. And I gave them a little bathroom. This changes. This will change. I fiddle with it a ton to see what works best without really changing much of the space. And the bathroom actually ends up being in that spot where the bathtub is right now. I believe I moved the door so that they don't actually have access through the castle. They actually have to go through that little 1-tile hallway where the arches are. And there's a door that way into the servant quarters. And I think the same goes for the kitchen. I kind of decided the queen probably wouldn't want to see any of this. She doesn't want to see the kitchen or anything. I've also realized there's no dining room in this build, and there probably should have been. I'm realizing this right now as I'm recording the voiceover. So I guess the queen will have to eat on the couch. I don't know. I probably should have included a table for her somewhere, but I didn't. The servants have a table though, and you can see me placing more filler furniture to try to figure out what to do with this space because it's not very big. It's kind of long and skinny. And of course the stairs are in the way, so I do end up keeping that as a sitting area though. And here you can see me trying to figure out how to make the servants' quarters not have access through the actual castle, but that door will go away. That goes into that courtyard area because I didn't really like that either. And this is probably where I'm changing it so they actually enter through that little 1-tile hallway. Let's see, is that what I'm doing? I think so. And then of course the arrangement of the servants' quarters gets changed up again, and you can see I'm using that toilet and bathtub that you can actually craft yourself. It's like basically you use the woodworking table, and it's the ones that you craft that are like really bad quality. So that's what I've used there, and again everything is functional. Those beds also change because I don't know, I feel like they wouldn't really have beds like that if this is like a medieval castle. So it looks like I am going to pick out the official beds for the bedroom. I wanted them to look medieval, but I didn't want them to be too nice, so I ended up going with the horse ranch beds, as you can see there. And I picked like a neutral swatch because a lot of the swatches are very like almost like a tribal pattern or like a geometry pattern, geometrical, I guess. So there's that. So I ended up going with these plain horse ranch beds that kind of fit the vibe, but aren't too fancy. I also scooted them into the wall. It doesn't clip, so that's good, and it's still functional. And then they actually have a really fancy dresser. Surprisingly, very fancy. I think I actually gave the same one to the queen, so we'll see that soon. Honestly, what took me the longest was the exterior of this build, but I think the speed build probably includes more of the interior, just because doing the landscaping around the moat took so long. I used a lot of debug. I might have even used something from the Star Wars pack, to be honest, but you can see I'm decorating the bathroom here. They've got some towels, a little bar of soap, and a mirror, and everything is functional. I tested it after I did that. Here we're gonna go add some windows finally. And you can see I wanted to do kind of like a climbing situation with the windows on the tower, so they kind of move over and get a little bit higher with each one. And I added some doors, I think, so that you could get everywhere. Oh, here I'm adding the ladder, because I imagine there would be like guards up there. And it is still functional. You can still get into the servants' quarters, and you can get into the kitchen just fine. So don't worry about that. Like I said, everything is functional. I'm adding some sconces, just so it's lit up at night. And here I am adding a little fountain. I figured it would be like a nice little entryway, and then I add some benches as well. So it's just like a nice little courtyard area before you enter the castle. I feel like castle is a strong word here. It's more like a tiny home, but that looks like a castle. And here I am just doing the porch. Again, just some benches and a telescope. And here we are with the kitchen. Adding some upper cabinets. I'm just looking for some clutter here. It was kind of hard to find clutter that fit the vibes without being too modern. I love that mortar and pestle clutter item. I think it's great. And it fit this build perfectly. And then I have some boxes there. I figured like maybe that's like, you know, they went out to the market and got some apples and produce, and then I end up putting, I think, a bucket of potatoes as well. Or maybe they get shipments delivered. And there's the bucket I was talking about too. I figured they would fill that up with water for whatever they need it for in the kitchen. And I chose the stove that uses the firewood underneath because, again, I'm kind of pretending that there's no electricity or plumbing in this build. And here I am finally working on the sitting area. I actually went with these Realm of Magic couches, which I didn't set out to use, but I actually really like how it turned out. And we're just gonna continue working on this area. I did add a little fireplace for some warmth. I probably should have added a fireplace in more rooms, but I didn't. Here I am trying to figure out a bookcase. I wanted it to go from the window to the wall, but that just wasn't gonna happen, so we ended up going with just one bookcase, I think. And then I think I switched that out for, I switched it out for that, the Realm of Magic bookcase, actually. And I may or may not put something in that corner, maybe not. I didn't put curtains in this build either. I just didn't feel like they were gonna fit very well. And then we've got some paintings. I actually put, I think, a painting of a woman and a man. I'm kind of imagining those are maybe the original owners of the castle. And it looks like we're moving upstairs. And this is the bathroom for the queen. So she's got a nice fancy tub. I give her the vampire's toilet because you can kind of just pull the little lever instead of flushing. And again, I got rid of the bucket. Sorry, I thought I kept the bucket, but I guess not. And I'm giving her some little towels and fancier soap than the servants. I actually used the Spa Day soap for this one. It's got a little flower. I don't know, I thought it was nicer. And you can see I'm using tulle in this build. I used it a lot, actually, but I think I used it more on the exterior so you don't see it too much. I was able to use the Basement Treasures mirror because it had a nice swatch without a crack in it. That looked nice. And here we are moving on to the main bedroom. And I did use the Realm of Magic bed, just I changed the swatch from the placer swatch. And I'm picking out some rugs. I used the same couch. Again, this bedroom is just a little bit more like cream and white colored. But I'm sticking with Realm of Magic. We also have a lot of tea sets. I feel like she would like tea. There's one downstairs in the bedroom, and then I have an extra one in the kitchen. And I gave her a bookshelf door to the bathroom because I feel like she wouldn't want to always realize that that's the bathroom. so I thought it would look nicer. Like, I don't think she would want the bathroom door out in the open. I don't know, it just felt fancier to have the bookshelf door, to be honest. Then she's got a little divider so she can get changed, and some dressers. Again, like I said, use the exact same dresser as the servants, but we'll look past that. Maybe theirs was like a hand-me-down and it's actually scratched up or something. Also gave her a little seating area, and I actually used 2 of the Wedding Stories rugs in just plain white because I figured they wouldn't want to get out of bed and onto the cold stone floor. But I didn't want another pattern going on with the rug and the bed. And here we are with the tour of the build, because the build is actually done. And at the end, I'm going to include some screenshots of the exterior because I did not tour the outside. But here we have the entry, night statues. I did paint the ceilings. And then we're going to go upstairs. And again, I used that mossy texture even inside because I'm almost imagining this is a very old house. Castle, maybe even abandoned at this point. Or no one currently lives here. I don't know. I just really like that moss swatch. And there's the bedroom. Now I believe I'm showing you the kitchen. Yep, here's the kitchen. I love how this looks in tab mode. And I did change out that table. I don't know if that was in the speed build. And then here's the servants' quarters. Again, totally functional. I did test it. And their little bathroom. And that's the speed build. There's a overview of the floor plan, and I'm going to insert some screenshots of the exterior here for you. I hope you enjoyed this speed build, and consider subscribing so you don't miss more like it. I'll see you soon, and I will drop some links in the comments to my Twitch and my gallery ID. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye!